Welcome to Power Up Podcast. Today we're doing the episode in a vlog style kind of format. I'm Christopher. This is Mary. Today we're talking about mobility, some different types of drills that you may not know of. Specifically,
today we're going to focus on some hip, quad, and hamstring mobility, as well as shoulder, pec, and bicep mobility. So a lot of what we do in CrossFit involves either squatting, pressing, or pulling. And all three of those domains kind of light up our biceps, triceps, chest, quads, hamstrings, and glutes. So a lot of our focus today is going to be on hip and shoulder mobility overall. One of the first and best stretches that I want to talk about today is a couch stretch that we've done regularly. Oftentimes we don't have a lot of people that are doing this correctly, so I wanted to make sure that we spent some time talking about it. So start with our toe on the wall, back up that knee as close to the wall as we can, okay? Our alignment, our heel should be close to our hip and moving forward, okay? I'm in an upright position here and I'm sitting into my hips. I'm not arching my back here to pull into my upper oblique or my hip flexor. I'm really focusing on the top of this quad, okay? If I'm really bound down in my quads or in my hips, this couch stretch is gonna stretch much lower or closer to my knee and my quad. The more and more mobile I get from doing this stretch, it's going to get higher and higher and higher. At which point I can start to focus more on my hip flexor by sliding my pelvis forward nice and easy. Okay, I don't want to drive too hard because now I'm forcing too far a range of motion. So I'm going to sit here, sit into my pelvis a little bit, and make sure that my hips are square forward. I'm not leaning any which way. Nice and square. Nice and even, okay? I want to hold for about 2 minutes on each side. If I can spend some time on this a day, I can relieve some of my lower back pain coming from my quads and my hip flexors. Secondary way that we can focus on our quads is to do some mashing. So we can sit, and the easiest thing to do is take a nice barbell. We're going all the way from the top of our knee straight into our hip, okay? So nice long strokes across our rectus femoris, or this quad muscle that runs from the top of my knee to my hip, okay? If I need to work on my lateralis, or the outside quad muscle, I can rotate my hip internally, try to hit that a little bit more. If I need to work on my medialis, I can go external rotation or toe out like I would for a squat and work here, okay? So nice long strokes along the full muscle, usually right down the rectus femoris, okay? Conversely, when I'm focused on hamstring stretching, one of the best stretches we can do for hamstrings is to keep our back nice and flat on the ground by using the ground to lay it back against, okay? So normally we're doing hamstring stretches here, we're pulling our back out of a position or rounding here. This isn't necessarily helping us or reinforcing great positions. So in CrossFit or any pulling from the ground, we want to keep that nice foundation through our back. So I'm going to change this up a little bit, hit my hamstrings by looping this band under my toe, laying flat on my back, toe up or toe close to me, not pretty ballerina toes, nice dorsiflex toe, pulling towards my chin. Okay, again, another 2-minute hold here for some relief. The other thing I can do through this is activate and release, activate and release. And the warmer I get, the easier it's going to be to pull this hamstring a little bit tighter, okay? The other thing here is I want to make sure that my opposite hip is flat on the ground all the way through this, okay? I don't want to be pulling my hip off the ground, okay? So nice grounded position, pulling that hamstring in a nice stretch. If I'm not hitting about a 90-degree angle here, it means I'm a little bit inflexible in my hamstring and I need to spend some time in it. If I am at a good 90-degree angle or more here, possibly some of my pulling from the ground means it's a strength deficiency, not necessarily a mobility deficiency. The other thing that we can do to mobilize our hamstrings is use our friend foam roller. One leg at a time or 2 legs at a time if you really wish, but we're going to go from bottom of our hamstring right behind our knee all the way up under our butt or our glute. Okay. So nice long strokes again, running along the whole length of the muscle. So next thing that we're going to focus on is some shoulder mobility, shoulder and chest mobility. Okay. So first position that we can get in that's really going to help us through our bicep especially is to use a J-hook on our rig. J-hook is going to be about shoulder height or about elbow pit height. We're going to take our thumb or our hand thumb side down, lock it into the J-hook. Okay? I'm then going to turn my body away from here, and I should feel a pretty good stretch right here across my bicep. Okay? It's a good way to get into that bicep tendon. Now, this higher position may be a little bit more uncomfortable for some people, so you can lower that J-hook, again, thumb side down, and continue to turn away. Changing that angle just a little bit can be a really good method to release the whole bicep and the whole bicep tendon. Okay? So, that doesn't include the whole bicep. We're getting more of the chunk of our bicep here, a lot of what we'd feel from doing a lot of pull-ups. But we also end up being really, really tight in our bicep insertion as well. That comes from a lot of our pressing, either benching or pressing overhead. So we want to spend some time here as well. What we're going to do here is get in a laying position with our barbell. And I'm going to pin my bicep insertion with the barbell. Okay? So that barbell is sitting right where my pectoral muscles and my bicep comes together, the front of my shoulder. Okay? And I'm just going to wave my arm through this range of motion. Okay? I can turn my hands different ways to help release that. But some good time spent on our bicep insertion is a good way to help us with our overhead position. So movements like squat snatch or overhead squat, where we have to be in a nice externally rotated position here. This is a good way to help release that chest back to get into a stronger, safer, more consistent position. So, pinning that bicep insertion, flossing through that range of motion. Finally, we're going to do some focus on our shoulders or our lats. We do a lot of pulling or a lot of hanging and pulling, and that all activates our lats. So our lats are here, they run down through our obliques and used for that pulling type of motion, okay? Even when we're pulling off the ground, we have to lock our lats into place to make sure that we're getting tall and strong too. So pulling from the ground, pulling from overhead. So first thing I'm going to do is going to loop my hand through here. I'm going to step back, turn my thumb up or externally rotate, press down through my chest. Okay, so I should feel a nice deep lat stretch here. Again, thumbs up if you need help encouraging that external rotation. You can use your other hand to hold it there. So some nice consistency here. Again, about a minute on each side, if you can tolerate it, is going to be best to help you release those lats. Secondary way to start working into our lats, force our arm all the way through to our elbow, do our hair, or bring our hand right next to our ear, and over our head. Okay? So, my bicep is hugging my ear here. I'm working through this chest and lat, so this is pec minor and lat for that release. And then finally, a little bit of deltoid release. So we're going to loop our hand through, hang on to that. We're just going to pull across our body. Okay? So I'm going to feel this stretch right across my shoulder here. Again, about a minute on each side. And there you have it. CrossFit mobility, hips, shoulders. Cool. So, don't forget about cool functions and classes coming up at MOB. We have some cool events coming up as we go on through this month. Beyond that, Coach CJ and Coach Mary, myself, run Game Ready Fitness, and that's focused on youth sports performance. Our classes are Tuesdays and Thursday nights at 7 p.m., Saturdays and Sundays at 11 a.m. So come and join us, where our youth program starts at age 9 and goes all the way up through college level sports. So ask us about what we do, and we'll more than willing to get your kid up and running.